We are good. We are good. Yay. For those of you who have been following me, you know that our first live did not go really well and we totally screwed it up. So glad you are here and you can hear me because last time you couldn't see me. I don't know, it was a total mess. So I am very, very excited to do this. I am so excited. I'm so excited that you guys are here. And I'm telling you, like, what I have for you, yes, seriously, I'm finishing up yesterday and I was like, this is good stuff. Like, this is really good stuff, if I don't say so myself. Now, at the end, you might be like, that's not good, but I felt pretty good about it. So I am very excited. Okay. Okay. So we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Let's make sure that you can see that. Can everyone see that okay? Are we good to go? All right. So let me tell you a little bit, just logistically, what's happening here is Warwick, who is my right-hand business partner and who has helped me extensively with my YouTube channel, which you guys don't know anything about Warwick, but he is behind the scenes. He is manning the chat. Okay. So if you have any questions while I'm going, you can pop them in there. He's going to put it in there. He's also going to be giving you links throughout the presentation so you can see what I'm talking about, linked to some other things as well. All right, here we go. Let's get started. I'm very excited. Okay, so how to get your home ready to sell. We're going to teach you how to sell your home fast and for more money. Okay, is this how you're feeling? Is this how maybe you're feeling or you're thinking about it? So selling a home is traumatic. It truly, truly is traumatic. And I tell people a lot about this. Gosh, early on when I'm meeting with them. And I hate to use the word traumatic because it sounds really like bad, really bad. But the problem is that it truly is a traumatic experience because so many people don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the direction to go in. And they're making really, really, really bad decisions that they cannot recover from. And I'm going to actually give you some examples of some of this because selling a home is also emotional. Now, um, that's me. That's my husband, Mike. And I'm going to tell you a real life true story about two real estate experts who was one of the most traumatic stories ever. So my husband and so I've been in the industry 13 years and worked with thousands of people. My husband is a very, very experienced attorney and a real estate attorney. I mean, he has worked with many people as well. 1,000 people selling homes, contracts, things like that. We are like a super, super experienced team. And we moved last summer. And we we put our home on the market and it was in Chicago. We put our home on the market last like April and we did really, really well with our home process, selling it, getting it ready. I knew exactly what to do. We got a really, really high price. We got one of the highest prices in the subdivision that I lived in ever. And so we really knew what we were doing. We also were able to negotiate a 2-month rent back so that we could actually stay in the house over the summer. Our kids were coming back from college and we didn't want to miss the summer in Chicago. And so we closed July, like it was July 5th. Now, this is not necessarily about selling. This is about the whole process. So we were successful in selling and we actually closed. When we were looking for a house and we were looking for a house in Florida, we we went to the lender and I said, hey, I just want to make sure we're good to go. And I did it really early. We got our letter early. We accepted our offer really early. And I was like, every step of the way, I kept checking in. So we're good to go, right? We're good to go, right? He's like, yeah, no problem. No problem. We closed. It was like, we closed, I think, July 5th. We came to Florida July 8th and we were going to spend the next 2 weeks finding our home. Perfect, right? Because we had the rent back. It was a great, wonderful experience. However, we got to Florida, we found a wonderful house that we liked, and our lender started getting a little nervous. And he said, you know what, Katie, he's like, rates just completely went up. We can't get you the rate that you were looking for. Remember last summer rates went up. We just happened to buy the week that rates like went through the roof, of course. So there's one of our issues. And so we we're like, well, what do you mean? He said, we can't do it. He said, you need to go to a bank because you can get a better loan at the bank. A lot of specifics, whatever. So we went to this bank that he recommended. We went to the bank and he said, yeah, no problem. I got my pre-approval, everything completely good to go. And we found out that we weren't going to be able to get the loan. And we weren't going to be able to get the loan because the lender said, because I was a real estate agent, I could not use income in Illinois and Florida. And so we actually got denied from our loan, and we were in a contract and we had sold our house and we had literally no place to go. Literally, we were not approved for a mortgage. And I have to tell you, this was pretty traumatic. Like when I talk about one of the worst experiences that has happened, it was this. And I've never seen this before. I've never had anybody who was not approved, like after they've gone through the initial approval place. And so we had to but we had to go back to the other lender, and we did get a very, very high rate. We did eventually get approved, but I will tell you that the sellers on the house that we were purchasing had no idea, and we were very, very up in the air up until about a week before closing. And it was an extremely, extremely emotional and traumatic experience, even for somebody like me who was very, very knowledgeable. And what I always say is that in this process, I've done so many transactions, closed so many homes, and every single deal I do, I see something different. And because I've done so many transactions, I have this incredible knowledge base of things that can go wrong. And I swear it is every single time there is a deal, I learn something new. And so from that is what I am here to teach you today, is really figuring out what I've learned to help you. So if it's traumatic for me, I mean, what is it like for the inexperienced, which maybe some of you are feeling like this. And sellers really just don't know where to start. They don't have a game plan. And your early choices will directly impact your profit and your stress levels. And by the end of this session, I know you're going to get this. I know you're going to get this. So, and most people don't realize how stressful it is until it's all over. So now, if you know in the beginning that what to sort of expect, I promise you can make more money and you will have less stress. So I'm going to teach you all of those experiences, and I've actually boiled everything down into 5 steps. Truly, you only need to know these 5 pillars in order to go from start to finish, make the most amount of money with the least amount of stress. So these are 5 pillars that I have created that I really believe that if you are able to master these 5 pillars, you are going to be successful. Okay, so we'll start there. Sell with strategy. Seek your sweet spot between price and peace. Smart upgrades. Everyone always asks me about the upgrades. What pays off and what doesn't, because you don't want to make a mistake updating something that's not going to get you a return. Staging. Should you stage? Is it worth it? And how do you have those great showings? Pricing playbook. Now, this is one where people don't understand the significance of pricing. This is like this is my wheelhouse. Pricing is my wheelhouse. So that's something we're going to talk about. And then finding the perfect partner. If you are choosing to use a real estate agent, I'm going to show you how you're going to find that perfect person to help. So today we're going to talk about 2 of these 5 pillars, okay? Each real section of these probably is like an hour to an hour and a half long of content that I've really distilled down. Today we're going to be about an hour on these 2, and so I'm kind of doing a highlight. And you guys have been on my channel, so you've seen a lot of stuff that I talk about each of these 5 pillars. That's pretty much where my content does come from. Okay, so the first one, sell with strategy. Seek your sweet spot between price and peace. And you'll understand this when we're all done with this one. Okay, so this is a house. This is typical colonial. I don't know how many of you feel that this might be your house. Nothing special, right? Nice colonial in our town. And this is a transaction where I was given a huge lesson in really understanding the planning process, where I can now convey it to you. So this was October, not this past year. This was a few years ago. And Cheryl was somebody who worked on my team, and she left me a note and she said, "Hey, checked in with Paul, invited him to the seller seminar. He said it was probably too early at this time. They're thinking mid-year or so next year. Keep us on the list. I'll follow up in January 2020." So this was a few years ago, and I actually created a seller seminar, which is pretty much the first iteration of what you're watching today. And it was an in-person event where people could go and they could listen to me talk about things like this. And I was inviting people who I knew probably would be selling at some point. He had signed up for a valuation on my home site in July. So in October, we invited him to the seller seminar. And so he said he wasn't going to go. And this is what I wrote back to Cheryl. I said, honestly, it's the right time to come to the seminar if they are selling next year. This is for people who are 6 months or more out from selling, FYI. So I was just telling her that anybody who really thinks that they're more than 6 months out, this is perfect for them, and he should have probably come. He chose not to come. And then look what happened. In February, he unsubscribed from all of our stuff. Okay, fine. We get a lot of people that do that. Not a big deal. So his missed opportunity. So we met. That's when he reached out to me originally. I started communicating with him a little bit, but he wasn't really much. They did not attend my seller seminar. And then they listed with another agent in March. So I didn't even get the opportunity to interview. He was just looking on my site, whatever. So they started at 569 list price, and they moved out. They moved out. I think it was May they moved out of the house. And if you see here, you can see some pictures. Now, I think my image is covering up that picture, right? So you can't see some of these stuff in the bottom there. So the sellers moved out in May, and you can see what they had done with their first agent, which is something that I talk about all the time, is they replaced their countertops. If you've watched some of my videos, you know that's like my least favorite update. And the reason why is because, that was probably like a $3,000 job. The kitchen's fine. It was fine. It wasn't bad. And they kind of painted it gray. They painted like a gray, not like didn't really work with the warmth of the house, but whatever, not a big deal. They put money into the house. So they had moved out because they had already decided and purchased in another state. So they were gone. So now the house is listed. So the house went under contract in June, and then the deal fell through for the first time. Then they did a price reduction to $549, and then went under contract a second time. The deal fell through again. Now remember, this is not my listing at the time, okay? I was not the listing agent. Then they went under contract a third time, and the deal fell through again. Okay. So I'm watching this house thinking, oh boy, 3 times. I wonder what's going on. Again, I really didn't know him, but I got this email from him that I'm interested in meeting to review my house, considering relisting with another agent and additional work on the house. Please contact me at your convenience in the coming days. So he had unsubscribed from everything that I gave him. And then in July, he reached out. Remember, the first contact we had was the previous July. He did not educate himself in the seller seminar, and then he just listed with another agent. So the next steps, what I found is they did have some foundational issues. I wasn't really aware of what, because they had the other inspections that these buyers just left. They didn't share any inspection reports. And what I'm going to tell you, and now that I'm on YouTube with pretty much a national audience, is that every state is different. So what I'm going to talk about here is pertinent to Illinois. It doesn't mean it's necessarily in your area, okay? In Illinois, we don't share inspection reports. The buyers do not share in the inspection reports with the sellers unless the sellers want it. So I knew there were some foundational issues. I wasn't really sure what they were. They had spent thousands of dollars getting the house ready to go on the market, but they hadn't done some fundamental things to make the house actually sell well. It wasn't staged, and now it's empty, and the price started too high. The price was just too high, and you can see they had done a price reduction. So yes, when you do a price reduction, that means you're not really getting any showings. The house was empty. Empty houses in Chicago are scary. And, so it was now August at this point, and you're thinking you're on a 60-day, on the market. Going into winter in Chicago with an empty house is very, very scary because of broken pipes. So what we did is I told him, I said, you have to have it staged, and you've got to relist it at a lower price. And there was a disclosure that there was a foundational issue from what we could see. And that was what we visually could see. We didn't have any actual real estimates or guesses of this, but we did disclose this, that there was a foundational issue. So we did go under contract. The house looked great. It looked fantastic. Now the deal fell through again with a fourth time. And the problem was that the foundational issue, these buyers didn't even want to deal with it. They didn't even want to credit. They just walked. And so what we did is we had to go out and get our own inspector. I said, we have to address this. We've got to figure out what is going on. And there was a real foundational issue in the house. So we decided we were going to go back on the market at 519. So now, right, that's a much lower price that we went on. But now he's just thinking, am I going to actually be able to sell this house? Was he able to sell that house? So he was 7 months on the market. We did end up selling for 510, and he did sell it before winter. But he had over 100 showings. We had 50 showings just when I had it, and then the other agent had it as well. Very, very painful. A lot of wasted money. A lot of money they spent on getting the house ready that they spent in the wrong places. Like when I came in, I said, you've got to fix up your basement. Your basement is a reason people are not going to want this. And so they had put money into that. They put it into, the kitchen. But that wasn't the issue. It really was the basement. So it was an incredible amount of stress for them. And then to what end? And this is what I want to ask all of you. Okay. I, you know, when I'm starting with somebody in this process of selling their home, I say, what is most important to you? Is it ease of sale? Is it money? And everybody's always going to say, of course, it's the money. And of course, it's always the money, right? But is it the money at any cost? Is it the money at an incredible amount of stress, at the risk of not being able to sell? To what end? And so that's the first question I want to ask you is to what end? What is most important to you? So what did they want? What did those clients want? Did they want the money? Yeah, they wanted the money. Did they need the money? Now, I always ask my clients this when they're trying to negotiate or I'm talking to them, we got a low offer. I'll say, okay, I know you want the money, but do you need the money? Do you need this money? Is this going to make or break you? Because if you need the money, we're talking something totally different than if you want the money. And if you want the money, the stress is worth money, right? So how much was their stress worth? How much is your stress worth? Is your stress worth 10, 20, $50,000? I don't know. Or do you absolutely need every single penny? Because if you need every single penny and you're updating your house with things that are not going to get you a return on your investment, you could be doing it wrong. So what if they had planned early? What if they had come to my seller seminar? I'm asking seriously, what if they were like you right here, educating yourselves? What if they had a better agent, an agent who understood what they needed to do with the foundational issues? What if they had kept up their maintenance on an ongoing basis? All of this would have been different, right? What if they had staged early? But all they really thought they needed to do was put their house on the market, go find an agent because all agents are equal. They're all the same. They're not worth the money, but we have to use them. They're a necessary evil. That's what I know. A lot of people think that. And so they did that. They just went out, found an agent, and that was it. Thought, well, you know what? Maybe we'll get a break on our commission, right? Did that help them? I don't know. So this is an actual quote from my client. So we had an outstanding experience working with Katie. The recommendations were spot on to attract people to the house, and she communicated superbly with us as the process unfolded. We had some challenges with a particular issue with the house, and she aggressively managed them with potential and final buyer's agents. She is the definitive expert in her area and achieved what others could not. We underestimated the value of a great agent as they can make good, better, and bad manageable. Now, of course, this is great for me, right? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about trying to prop me up. What I'm saying is that you have to have this guidance. You have to have these resources. You have to plan early. Because if they had planned early, it would have been a much better situation. They wouldn't have written this review because they would have been like, well, yeah, it was simple and easy and all over, and we did what we needed to do. And maybe our agent wasn't worth as much as she was worth. Maybe. I don't know. So don't make that mistake. Even if you think you have a good property, hire the best in the business. Okay. So, and that's real. I mean, but he had already gone through the trauma and he was able to write this because he knew how much we had done to him. Again, not about me. There are hundreds of thousands of fantastic agents in this country who will be able to do the same exact thing that I did for them, but you have to be able to find them in your location. So, this is what I want to tell you. I want you to remember this. Take a picture of it. Cash in hand or stress on your heart, weigh them both before you start. This is super important. I want you to make a decision. What is most important to you? Okay, so I have this graphic here, and I think you should probably take a picture of this one or rewind or pause for a second because this one, it needs a little of explaining, but I would just want to show you. So let's pretend you're saying we need every single penny out, every penny. Okay. And so you see where it says seller's desire to sell above market value right there, right? So if that's where you're at, if you or your spouse is like, we need every single dollar out. So you're starting up here. You are going to be in trauma or high anxiety. And the reason why, if you're going to be between trauma or high anxiety, is if you're putting out cash or you're preparing or you're not. So if you're putting out the cash over here and you're preparing, yeah, you can get that high market value. You can. You can. It's going to be a lot of anxiety because you put out a lot of cash and you might be above the market. This price you may not be able to get. So yes, that'll be high anxiety. Now, if you decide you're not getting the house ready, you're not doing any preparation, and you want a high price, you are in trauma. Okay. This is where you probably will be if you are not understanding. So now, if you are sort of indifferent to price, this midline is like, we want our market value. Okay. That's where the midline is. But if you're sort of like, you know what, it's an estate sale. We don't really care. It's a family inheritance. We just want to be done and over. You can have a calm or mild stress. Okay. So I want you to think about this is that where you want on the money scale is going to determine where you are on the stress scale. I hope this is making sense just because I see this all the time. Somebody who wants a really, really high price and doesn't put yearly maintenance into the house, it's going to be a really real struggle to get that price. If you want that high price and you're not doing anything in the house, well, then you got to make sure that you're pricing it appropriately. So all of these things sort of work and play together. It's not as easy as it really seems. And I hope that I'm explaining that to you guys where you can understand that. So now what's next? What's next for you on my very first pillar? So I want you to ask yourself, what is most important to you? Low stress or high return? And how much money do you want to or can you put into your home? Do you have partners? Do you have an agent? Do you have a handyman? What do you have to get your home ready? Any friends who have done this before? How much will you make? You need to understand how much you are going to make when you go to sell your home. You can't guess. And let me tell you something. This is, and I'll get to it in a minute, but what you're going to get for your home is, I mean, the buyers are going to tell you. It doesn't matter what you want. The buyers are going to tell you what your house is worth. So that's why you need to understand before you go to market, what will the buyers say your home is worth? I'll talk about how you can find that number. Where are you going to go in the process? If you don't have a place to go to, you should not list your house. I want you to know that if you've looked and there's nothing out there, you can't list your house because you could be homeless. And how logistically will you do this? There's a lot of moving parts. It's not just, I'm going to list my house, I'm going to call the mover, and I'm going to pack up my bags and I'm going to move. It's no longer like that. And, I'm in a generation where people like my age and older, when we bought our first houses, we loved it. We loved exactly the way it looked. We said, we'll probably do work over time. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. Those days are over. Those days are over. And so, and I got a lot of videos I'm sure you guys have watched about that. But you need to understand it's different now than when you bought or sold your last house. And I get people coming to me all the time. And if you're like this, tell me, put it in the chat. I get people saying, I bought and sold my houses by myself, 3 times. Well, how long ago is it? Well, it's 20 years ago. So I get a lot of people who tell me that. And that's great. And I know you can do it. But like I told you earlier, is that if it's traumatic for me, if it's emotional for me, and I've done thousands of transactions, what's it going to be like for somebody who literally has no idea? That's why you are doing the right thing by educating yourself. And remember, the whole process is broken down into just 5 steps, and understanding your time frame as well. So I am just going to take a drink here and see. Anybody have any questions? Kathy says, I inherited a house recently. I don't have to get the 30-year-old wall. I know I have to. Maybe, maybe not, Kathy. That's a great question because that's exactly what I'm talking about. So when you say, and that's why when people watch my videos and I say something, I don't want them to do literally just what I'm saying to do. Wallpaper doesn't always show well, but if the whole house needs to be redone and the kitchen needs to be redone and the wallpaper is in whatever room it is, the kitchen, you might not need it. If the market's super hot and somebody's going to gut the house, you don't need to take it down. So therefore, you're not spending that money. So that's why you need to start planning early. Don't just go out and spend money on stuff without truly knowing if you're going to get a return. And you guys can't know unless you've been in the industry. Truly, truly, truly. You can make a guess, but you're not going to know. Even sometimes I don't know for sure, but I'll talk it through and I'll give consultative advice. So you are ahead of everyone else because you are here, right? You are here. So cheers to all of you. All right, you're on the right path for sure. I know everybody's seen this type of an image before, it's the iceberg. And what do we know? You don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what's under the water. You don't know what is there. So this is really significant. And I talk about pricing all of the time. I know you may think it's not important. This is super, super important. And I want you to price your home so you get that profit that you're supposed to get. So I'm going to tell you another good story. This is a good story. I don't know who it's good for. It's probably good for nobody. Okay. This was me. This was Confident Katie, a few years in the business. And I was going to try it here. It's more static when you started touching it for me. More static. Ugh. Okay. Is it still bad, guys? Like, put in the chat. Okay. If it's good or bad, if you got everybody put in the chat, just so we can hear you. So it's fine. Great. Okay. So I'm thinking that if you're going to go back and maybe watch the recording, it should be okay. Maybe, I hope. Okay. It's okay. All right, good. I'm just going to move forward. Okay. Okay. So this was me, confident Katie. I was a few years in the business and, I was probably overconfident. I was doing really, really well. I came out of the gate flying 13 years ago, sold a lot of homes in my first year. And actually, my first 3 years, I was getting great recommendations, great name for myself in my market. I got a call from somebody who wanted me to come to a listing presentation, and I didn't know them. They just called me. And so it was 3 agents that they had asked to come in, and I felt super, super confident in my abilities at that point. I felt super confident in what I was saying. I felt super confident in my pricing, everything. I was like, I got this. I know I got this. I got this listing presentation. So the house, as you can see, was the house was it was beautiful. I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So the house was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it was so clean. You can see so clean, but it was a little awkward, just a little bit awkward. And the reason it was awkward was because it had this kind of like a galley kitchen, and then it had this room up on the second floor. And the room on the second floor wasn't really, like you can see, it wasn't fantastic. And so I knew that the house wasn't necessarily going to appeal to kind of young buyers because of this little bit of an awkward layout. Now, it was a wonderful house, though. So, and you can see here's kind of like the layout. I know it's a little fuzzy, but when you walk into the family room, there was no mudroom, which young families want in the mud. They want a mudroom there. So I knew that was going to be a problem for young families. This wasn't a great space. In addition, for somebody that had a family, this master bedroom was on the first floor with 1 bedroom here and then 2 bedrooms upstairs. And so you can see that it wasn't necessarily for a young family. And I knew that they probably wouldn't get a ton of buyers. In addition, it was on kind of a busy street. And so I knew that it was probably not going to get a lot of traction. So I, being confident Katie, told them, we went in for July listing appointment. I said, my price is $599. I said, this is what I think it is. Showed them comps that I thought fit, whatever. So I did not get the listing. And I was shocked I didn't get the listing. But look who got the listing. Someone took the listing at $769. True, $769. I told them $599. Now I'm like feeling not so confident. I'm like, oh my God, could I have cost these people $250,000? I mean, if they had taken my number, where would we have been? So they were at $769. Well, very quickly they reduced to $749, and then $724, and now January. So now it's been on the market for 6 months. January price reduction goes to $699. So now I'm feeling a little more confident than I did when I lost that. Okay, so now there's a new agent. And in the industry, you've probably heard me say it, you want to be the third agent in. You want to be the first love, you want to be the first wife, first love, second wife, and third agent in. And that's because sellers, when they overprice their home and it doesn't sell, they think it's the agent's fault when it's actually their price. And so that's why you get the first agent who overprices it, the second agent who then gets maybe a little bit. When you get a little bit lower, then the second agent comes in and the third agent gets it even lower. So I'm going to go ahead and try and adjust these knobs again. So let me see. Is that better? I'm going to try and adjust that. Let me see here. How about that? Is that better or worse? What do you think about that? Yes, no. While I'm sort of talking, can you tell me, Warwick, is that better? Lynn says better. Okay, Warwick, is that better? Warwick is my right hand. Hit or miss, going to have to keep going. It sounds like a broken wire. Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. All right, so what we're gonna do is, you can tell that I'm an agent, right? This YouTube stuff is our second careers. But Warwick, thank you. You guys got to see Warwick sometime. He's gonna come on a video with me. You guys can hear me okay? Yes. See, I told you we're live. We did that just so you knew we were live, right? Okay. Well, we lost a bunch of people, but they could pick it up again. Sorry, guys. Okay, now I hope Warwick says he thinks it's my internet. Okay, what do you guys think? All right, so we went through this. I'm going to just start this one over again so we can get the flow going again. Okay, so as I said, I was confident, Katie. I did a July listing appointment, and my recommended list price was $599, and I did not get the listing as I told you, and it was reduced. Got to be a new agent, right? Because it was the agent's fault. It was not, of course, the price. May price reduction, of course, that agent had a new price reduction. So now I'm like, okay, now I'm feeling like maybe I wasn't wrong. June price reduction, $629. And then what they did is they relisted as new. It's kind of a trick that agents can do to relist it as new. And September price reduction, $599. So then they went under contract. So what was the price that I gave them? You guys remember? What was that price? I gave them a price of $599, didn't I? But then they went under contract in October. Remember when I gave it to them? The previous July. Okay, this is not really them. But this is probably what they were like, right? Thinking, we have been on the market 17 months, and they closed $10,000 less than I suggested to them. What? Really? I mean, these are real stories. This is a real story, okay? So 17 months later, they closed. Let's do the quick math here. 17 months times, let's say $5,000 carrying cost. You may say that's little or a lot. I don't know. I'm counting property taxes. They lost $85,000 in carrying costs, right? Not to mention the stress, the number of showings, getting the house ready, the repairs and upkeep that they had in order to keep going, and their marriage. I mean, I can't even imagine the stress going on in their lives. So when I say selling a home is traumatic, this is why. Because if you don't do these things right, this is what's going to happen. This is not rare. Like what I'm showing you here is not rare. This is why agents also get a bad rap because they thought it was the agent. They thought I was lying to them. They just thought I wanted a low listing price. No, they had an agent come in and buy the listing. They had an agent come in and tell them that the price was $250,000 more than me. And they weren't like, well, gosh, why would Katie think that? Right? So your price is not what you believe. It's what your buyers believe. Okay. All of you stubborn people out there, I know who you are. And maybe you're not watching it, but maybe your spouse is very stubborn and that's why you're watching it. So your price is not what you believe. It's what your buyer believes. So we're going to talk about this a little bit. We're going to talk about what my strategic pricing system is so that you can figure out what your house truly is worth and if that agent is telling you the truth. Okay, so the appraised value is an opinion of value from a state licensed appraiser. It's an opinion in the appraisal sense. It is established value that is supported by market data. This is what an appraisal is. So we all have heard this before, right? But what does that really mean? So the bank needs to verify the value of the home, right? If the appraised value doesn't match the contract price, if an appraiser comes in and says it doesn't match the contract price, the loan will not be approved for the full purchase price. So that's why it is imperative that you understand what your appraised value is going to be. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and hire an appraiser because you don't need to do that. But I'm telling you, you need to understand what this value is. Agents can give you this information, and some of the data I'm going to give you, you could find it out maybe yourself as well. So that is an issue. So if your home does not appraise and somebody's writing you a contract with a mortgage contingency, there is a good chance that you will not be able to get that house sold because of that appraisal. So the purchase price may have to be lowered so the buyer can get that loan. Or the buyers may have to put more money towards their down payment, or the buyers might back out if they think they're actually overpaying for the house because the appraiser said that the house is worth more than it is. Okay. So market value. Market value is keep in mind, I started talking about appraised value. Now we're talking market value. Market value is the price a buyer is willing to pay for the home based on current market conditions. Okay. They're two different numbers. This value can go up and down depending on a variety of factors. So the condition, the age, the layout, the location. What time of year is it? Does it feel like, it's going into spring with the summer, schools, things like that? Is there a lot of inventory on the market? So buyers, when there's no inventory on the market, will probably pay more. When there is inventory on the market, buyers will pay less. So you need to understand this significance. This is very significant. So interest rates, property taxes, are property taxes going up? So therefore the market value might be lower, even though a house down the street sold. So what happened in this particular situation and story that I was telling you is that the agent came in and showed them like a 4-bedroom, 2.5-bath house and said, well, this house down the street sold for $750. Your house should sell for $750. And the sellers were like, oh, awesome. But I was like, it's on a busy street. It has a weird layout, an awkward layout. I would compare it more to this house that has probably 3 bedrooms and 2 baths because it's the same buyer pool. So you have to look at market value. And in that situation, I was looking at market value. I did not convey that effectively enough. Even if their house had appraised, even if they sold it for $750, it probably would not have appraised, right? So the deal probably would have fallen through. So other things that affected life events, COVID, crime, etc. So a buyer won't buy a home if the house does not work for their lifestyle. If it's the layout, if it's the location, or if it's the condition, it just will not work, okay? Or the age. So if they're looking for new and your house is old, they literally will not even come to your house. If they want a master bedroom on the 2nd floor and your master bedroom is on the 1st floor, they literally will not come to your house. And that is market value. That's not appraised value, because appraised value is going to say that home with the master bedroom on the first floor is still 4 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. An appraiser doesn't look at this. An appraiser doesn't look at what is the market saying about this house, things like that. So a buyer might be willing to pay more than the appraised value if they need to get in right away. The inventory is very low. They want to lock before the interest rates go up. The house that they are interested in rarely comes on the market. This is if you have a great location. The location is perfect for them. A buyer might pay less than the appraised value if they see that there's a lot of inventory on the market. If they really are not in a hurry, if they think the home is very overpriced and they're going to get a deal on the home, if interest rates are high, if they need to do a lot of work, or if the property taxes are high. So that's why they might pay less than the appraised value. So that's why you need to understand what your appraised value is. Okay. So you need to find out the values. How are you gonna, you're saying, well, Katie, now how am I going to find out the appraised value? I don't want you to go pay an appraiser. I want you, if you're thinking you're going to call an appraiser, call an agent instead, because agents aren't going to charge you for that. They will come over and do it for free. Agents are not going to give you the exact number that an appraiser is going to talk to you about, but the agent is also going to talk to you about market value as well. So you're going to do your own research. I recommend homes.com. They have a pretty good search capability in there to go in and look at sold homes in your specific area. You know, with my channel, I'm getting a lot of people who reach out to me and say, you know, I don't know what my home is worth. I literally go into homes.com and I look it up. Like, that is how I will figure out what the neighborhood looks like. So I want to make sure that you guys are going in there and pulling up your house. And then I want you to see the homes that have sold in your specific area. So when I get on the phone with somebody and they're like, I'm trying to figure out the value of my home, I go in there, I pull it up and I say, okay, so this house down the street from you sold for this amount. It's 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. You're 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. You want more money than that house. I make them justify it to me. They're like, oh yeah, well that's a good house, but ours is nice. Okay, well, $100,000 more nice? I mean, you have to base that on something, and an appraiser is going to come in and base it on the homes that have sold in that area. So go into homes.com and check it out there. We have a link there for you. So you're going to find all the homes in your area, and you're going to create an apples to apples list: square footage, age, bedrooms, bathrooms. You're going to get points for a good location. You're going to get negative points for a bad location. Okay. In our area, in the Chicagoland area, you get negative points if you have no basement. If you're behind a train, you get negative points. Garages, things like that. So you got to look apples to apples. And then you want to know, is the market going up or is it going down? Up, the market value is a bit above appraised value. Going down, the market is a little bit below appraised value. Now, this is why this is significant, because right now, if the market's going up, which now in our area it is, I know that any offer that comes in above my number is not going to appraise. So therefore, I need the buyers to write out the appraisal contingency. Does that make sense? I know we're getting into some weeds, into the nitty gritty, but this is why you need somebody who you can talk to. Now, I've got all this stuff on my channel. You can watch that stuff for sure, but that's why you need to understand that. So your list price can make you or lose you tens of thousands of dollars. I've got another story where my sellers actually lost about $600,000. Now, I know that was a very expensive house, but yeah, $600,000 because of their list price. And I got many stories about this. So you want to make sure you find out about the true value of your home now before it's too late. You don't want to get into listing your house and then find out your price is totally wrong. What you were expecting to get, you're not going to get. Again, remember the iceberg. You don't know what you don't know. And that is the same here. Again, I don't want to make you feel like, oh my gosh, this is so scary. I want you to know that you are doing what you need to do in order to make your profit and sell without the stress. Okay. So cash in hand, this is what we learned. Remember, cash in hand or stress on your heart, weigh them both before you start. That was our first lesson. Second one, your price is not what you believe, it's what your buyers believe. So this is where you're at right now. I feel like, you're all like these little saplings and you've got that support around you. You're looking for that support until you can kind of grow and do it yourself. I'm not sitting here saying you have to have an agent. You have to have an agent. No, but you need that guidance and you definitely need that support. So I'm going to give you a success story. I like this picture. This is a true client of mine. This is a true client. And so Doug and Nancy, and you can see this was actually, I went back and found my email that said, "Hi, Nancy, this is your order for Home Selling Seminar by Kati Spaniak." So these two were very focused on planning, and they decided to come to my seller seminar. And one of the things that he had told me is that they were going to replace all of their appliances, and they did think about redoing the whole kitchen. They did not think the kitchen was going to do it, and they thought they would need to sell. Now, some of my videos have talked about that you need to replace uh, appliances with maybe stainless steel. I'm not saying for sure, because here's a situation where I went in and they had done this kitchen the previous year. Now, they painted and they put in new countertops, which again, not always my favorite. And this house, they didn't need to do that, but they did that before they actually met me. And so they were going to replace their appliances. And I said, no need to. I said, no need to. Somebody's probably going to come in and redo your kitchen. And just in that market, in that location, probably that, somebody would redo it. So it was a livable kitchen. They didn't need to replace anything. And they learned that by coming to my seller seminar, which is what you guys are doing right now. So don't freak out about how you're going to know this. So they didn't do it. So they saved thousands of dollars by coming to the seller seminar. So in June, they sold. So remember when I met them, and then in June, so they started early, and then in June, this is an actual testimonial from him. I told her we'd be willing to spend $15,000 or more to get the house ready, and they didn't need to get the home ready. We sold at price above what we expected only in 3 weeks. So the most important thing I can say, they followed my advice. We netted more money and faster than if we tried to control the process. Again, of course, this is a great testimonial for me, which I love, but this isn't about me. This isn't about follow everything that I say. It's about educating yourselves, because they made the decisions. I didn't make the decisions for them. I just gave them guidance, and then they chose to make the decisions. Whatever decisions you make are up to you. So I view this as kind of where you're at right now. Okay. Kind of like, which path am I going down? Right. And the common mistakes that can be made, you're buying new furniture, right? I mean, this is crazy. You can spend a lot of money if you're going to go buy new furniture, buying accessories for the house, even pillows, rugs, pillows, whatever it is. Maybe painting. I know a lot of people are afraid to paint, or painting the wrong color, replacing mechanicals, new carpet, driveways. I hate concrete work. That's one thing I really, really would like to talk to you guys about before you do. Concrete work is so expensive, and it's not going to get you the return dollar for dollar. It might help you sell quicker, but it's just might not be worth it. I do have a story in one of my videos that I talk about with that. Landscaping, 1 to 50,000, choosing the wrong agent. I mean, I've seen somebody choosing the wrong agent. It's over $100,000 in choosing the wrong agent. I mean, just that one example that I showed you, they lost $85,000. They did the wrong thing. If they had chosen me, we probably would have sold over list, because it would have been a right price and somebody would have come in and bid it up. So they actually probably lost more than that. Remodeling your kitchen. Do you want to remodel your kitchen? Do you need to? I mean, I will help you figure that out, right? So remodeling your bathroom, same thing. So the wrong choices could cost you anywhere from $1,000 to more than $100,000. And I truly, truly, truly believe this. So the 5 pillars, like I said, I really believe these are the 5 things you need to master and you need to know. If you know these 5 pillars, okay, if you understand these 5, I believe that each one is worth $10,000. I truly do. If you're planning early, if you're upgrading the right things, if you are staging or not staging, pricing is super important, choosing the right agent. I believe that that's truly worth $50,000. I really do. So the 5 pillars, like I said, are these 5: sell with strategy. I did you that story. Smart upgrades, which I've got a bunch of videos on that. Staging, I've got a lot of videos on that. Pricing, which I talked to you about. And like I said, there's a lot more in both the selling strategy and pricing that I have they're also in my videos I talk a lot about. And then the agent matchmaker, which I talk about, but most people who are watching my channel aren't necessarily looking for an agent right now, but it's important to know the type of agent and getting a partnership early. Okay, so like I said, these were the 2 that we were talking about, and these are the 3 that we did not touch on. So this is you, right? Thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to figure out the rest of it? And you're going to just say, you can watch all my videos. So all of my videos, pretty much all of them, are pulled out from these pillars. Pretty much everything I talk about is from these. These are a lot more stories and just a little more, I don't know, just where I'm just chatting about them. They're not as laid out as I've done them here. So I actually do have, I know, I actually have a class. And one of the reasons I have a class that I'm putting out for you guys is because I get so many people who reach out to me with questions all the time. And I do get a lot of people who ask me to pay me for my time to give them this information. And so I created this class, and I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about it. So the class is truly all of my experiences boiled down into the 5 pillars. So, I mean, I've sold so many homes, worked with thousands of people, and I've had a lot of contracts that literally have not gone through that I've learned from them as well. So, what you get is you get this collaboration with me. It's not just a class. It's not a class you go like and just read or watch a video. It's actually interaction with me. Okay. And you get the full support of my team. So this is where you get to connect with me on a personal basis. And I'm going to help give you this strategy and how to move forward. So we are going to go over all 5 of these. Now, like I said, the sell with strategy and pricing playbook, there's actually quite a bit more in those. You got a lot of it, but there is a lot more. And there's some exercises that I give as well. But all of these other ones too, it's a very extensive, they're about an hour to an hour and a half each. You get some handouts and some checklists as well. In addition, we have a new Facebook group that we're putting together. It is only for people who purchase this class, only for people who purchase it. And it is where you can upload your pictures, you can ask questions, you can anything you want about selling your home or really making your home ownership profitable. So you do not have to be selling in the next year in order to benefit from this class. And the reason why is because we're talking about keeping your home profitable over the course of its lifetime. We're not just talking about before you sell. In fact, if you come right before you sell, it's going to be much harder and you're going to spend more money. And you might not have all that money to throw out. It's the idea of planning over 3 to 5 years and when you're going to be selling. I've got a lot of handouts I'll be giving. If you need an agent referral, I will give you that. There will be a monthly live Q&A, which is lifetime access to it. You will be allowed to attend that for the lifetime that I'm doing it. Paint colors, what to update list, showings and inspection list. What are you supposed to do? Questions to ask your agents. If you're looking to hire somebody, cheap staging hacks and discounts on products as well, we're going to be putting in there. So like I said, mastering these pillars could net you I truly believe it's $50,000. Okay. So now we're going to do the thing down, and I think you're going to be nicely surprised by this. Okay. It was $10,000. Would that be a steal? I don't know if you pay that, but maybe 5,000. How about 1,000? Okay. No. That be a steal? All right. What's the class for 197? That might be better. But, and I mean this for real, this is only for 1 week because as you can see, we're mastering our systems. You can see our technology is still a little off. And so for our very, very first round of classes, it's only $97. And you can go to readysetSellMasterclass.com right now. I know you can't see the QR code because I think my picture is on it right now. But you can go to, there's also the link in the chat there. You can go there and sign up for this class. Now, really, truly, this is 1 week only. You're getting this because I believe that this is worth way, 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 way more than $97. Like I get people saying, can I pay you $500, $1,000 to come to my house and to go over this stuff with me? And this is going to be everything that I've learned built down into the 5 pillars. So what's included? Sell with strategy, smart upgrades, staging on shoestring, pricing playbook, and agent matchmaker. But like I said, this Facebook group is going to be awesome. Okay, the Facebook group is going to be really good. The monthly live Q&A. We are at your disposal. Like if you have a question, we are going to answer it for you right then and there in the Facebook group. You can go back and forth with us. I want to be your partner in this. I want to be somebody who you can turn to. So how is the class delivered? So we have 5 live sessions online. Now it's not going to be in YouTube. I'm sure you guys are like, well, don't put it in YouTube. It is actually going to be on Zoom. But you don't have to be on live for it because you will get the recording right after the class. The recordings will be delivered right into your inbox if you cannot hop on for those lives. The lives are for people probably who are like, I've got this specific question, this question, they want to interact with me. But if you just want the recordings, they're going to come to you as well. You get lifetime portal access. So you can have that ongoing no matter what. Lifetime Facebook group for Q&A, not a problem. Lifetime group Q&A on Zoom and or YouTube and streamed into Facebook. So we are working on a membership in YouTube, which you would have access to as well. This is only this first week, okay? I swear, because I think that this class should be priced more, but you know, that's me knowing what I know. I don't know if you guys think that. But you have email access to me and my team about questions getting your home on the market, and then you won't feel bad. Many people feel bad taking my time. But like I said, it's only until March 23rd. So you're going to say some of the questions that we get. So haven't you already done videos about these topics on YouTube? I absolutely have. Yeah, and I told you that. And you can go and you can find all the topics, but I haven't done them as detailed and as specific as I'm doing right now. I've not laid this out in that kind of detailed way. So yes, you can go find a lot of this on your own, for sure, absolutely. And I highly suggest that you continue to do that. Are they going to be posted on YouTube? They won't be posted on YouTube unless we're doing a private membership group in the back. So they will be in a different portal. You don't want to use an agent. Will it help use for sale by owner? Absolutely. Like what I'm going to teach you, if you want to sell your house by yourself, this is what you need to do. And I'm telling you, like, you've got to understand what pictures are good, how to talk to the other agents. I mean, yes, if you're thinking about selling by owner, I will absolutely help you figure that out too. If you can't make the live sessions, will I get the recordings? You bet. We're going to send you those recordings. They are not pre-recorded, as you can tell. Real and authentic here. So yeah, no, they are all going to be live sessions, and I hope we don't have technical difficulties again. Selling my home in 3 years, is it too early to get the course? And that is my suggestion to all of you, is that if you truly are years and years away, I promise you this is going to help you. Because let's say something, you're deciding, should I get a new furnace or new air conditioner? That's something I'm going to be talking to you about. Your roof, like that could save you thousands and thousands of dollars, truly, just by buying this class. Thousands and thousands of dollars. So readysetSellMasterclass.com. I know you can't really see it there in the comments, but this class will save you thousands of dollars just by understanding what you need to do. Yes, I just said that it'll save thousands of dollars, and it'll make you more money. I really believe it'll help you choose an agent. If you're really thinking you want to choose an agent, I'll make sure I show you exactly how you can know who a good agent is and a bad agent. Absolutely. So what happens in the Facebook group? Do I only get access if I purchase the course? Yes, you only get access if you purchase the course. Nobody else from outside, except people who purchase the course, are allowed into the Facebook group. And I saw you said you don't have Facebook. C. Madison. Well, I'll make it up to you. I'll make it up to you. Because the Facebook group is where we can really get a lot of dialogue going. At some point, we probably will set up our own community. We just, like I said, technology is we're working towards it. Okay. So, definitely that Facebook group is a place where you can connect with us for sure. And after the course, yes, you will have access forever. So do you guys have any questions about this? Thoughts, ideas, any objections? I want to hear what you guys have to say. I mean, $97 for this, I feel, is pretty strong, considering everything that I will be teaching you. And I just know that because I know that. A lot of people might not realize that until after they've actually gone through the whole process. And then they'd say, you bet I would have, you bet I would have paid $97 to avoid this catastrophe. Do we have any questions about anything in here right now? Any thoughts, anything at all? I mean, I will tell you, every single transaction, I learned something new. Every single transaction, I learned something new, and it's been a rough week this week. I'll tell you, I learned a lot of new stuff this week. Yeah, if you're not in Illinois, it doesn't matter. This is all over the country. This is not just Illinois. This is for anybody who's thinking about selling anywhere in the country. My channel is for people who are all over the country, not just Illinois. In fact, most of our people are not in Illinois. So yes, absolutely. So like this week we had a couple situations, we had a multiple offer situation. that was very, very stressful for my sellers. I have sellers that are not willing to put any money in for the inspection. How am I negotiating that in order to get the highest price from a buyer? You know, I had a seller this week that was threatened to be sued. That was very stressful this week too. Let's just say it was a very, very stressful week. But the point is that because of my experience, I know how to handle these situations. And so the $97, I truly believe, is something that, well, first of all, it's only going to be this 1 week, and it may be more next week. I don't know. I'm saying 197 next week, and we'll see how that plays out. And I want to know if you guys find this helpful. If you guys are finding my stuff helpful, I absolutely want to know. Do we have any other questions? Any other things too? Let's see. You guys have any questions? I don't know if I don't, let me see if I have any questions here. Here in Maryville. Yes, thanks for hanging in there, guys. Sorry about that. We really didn't do a very good job with that. But that was, I mean, we're prepared. We're learning. My mic was not working because I think it sounds better now, right? Sounds much better now because I think it was the mic. So, will the course helpful for selling in Canada? Absolutely, Teresa. You know what? And I actually do know quite a few agents in Canada as well. My network of agents goes actually international, worldwide as well. I do know agents in a lot of other countries, and Canada, I know a lot of agents as well. If you need somebody to come in, I certainly can help you find somebody. But yes, everything that I'm talking about, what I'm really talking about is the buyers are kind of difficult nowadays. And how do you navigate the buyers who are different than the sellers? In addition, the new commission situations that are arising with the NAR lawsuit. If you haven't seen that, it's made news. Just go and look for it. But I will tell you, should you be paying out a buyer commission when you go to list your house? I mean, the things that we're going to be talking about are directly tied into finances and making money. Literally, that's what you're going to be learning from me. So the $97 is nothing compared to what I'm going to be teaching you. I mean, I'm going to give you a lot of advice that's really going to help you figure out how to make more money. Okay. Can you just move to New Jersey and be my realtor? Oh, I actually do know a couple of really good realtors in New Jersey. If you are interested, yes, I'm not moving to New Jersey. Sorry. Listen, we're in our house. That trauma was enough for me. And it is hard. I mean, it was a real situation. Thank you for answering my question. Yeah. Very reasonable price. Very reasonable price. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. I think it's worth it, but I just and I do, and I think I've been there for you guys to help put this out to you to make your selling experience easier and better. And I try to be real and honest. Sometimes I get a little bit of hate, not much, not a ton of hate. I thought my agent video was going to get a little more hate than it did, but it didn't really. But we get some really good feedback, some really good things that people say on our comments that I take into consideration, and I try and always support and help all of you as well to make sure that you're making as much money, because this industry, is really, really difficult to navigate and difficult to understand. And I will tell you, there are very few people on YouTube who are talking about selling your home. Like, they're talking about maybe going to buy or to sell or specific for their market or blah, blah, blah. Because I've had so much experience, and truly also because my husband is a real estate attorney, I see things a lot from the other legal side as well, that nobody's really talking about this. Everybody who's sort of on YouTube is a YouTube wannabe or a YouTuber. I'm starting from understanding of being an agent. So I am an agent first, and now I'm just on YouTube sharing that information, which is why we're struggling a little bit on technology. Now, Work's much better at this than me, but he's not here, so he can't fix my mic for me on the fly. So that's one of the things is I am not a YouTuber. I am a real estate agent who happens to present information on YouTube, and that's why I'm doing this class as well. Okay, here's a question from earlier. I have a large bedroom, but the owner before me, and now I use it as media room, should be staged as a bedroom for selling, 4-bedroom house. No. I say no, because usually those fourth bedrooms, people know they're a bedroom. So if you're going to stage any rooms, I recommend the master bedroom. And that's truly it. I mean, if you're using it as a media room and it's too difficult to get all the stuff out, I would say just leave it. Now, if you get an inexperienced agent coming in, the agent might say, yeah, get rid of it. Well, of course, the agent's going to say, get rid of it. But my goal is to get you to sell for more money and with the least amount of stress. And so for you to get rid of the media room is a lot of work. That's a lot of stress, right? So that's not worth it. Is it going to make you more money if you get rid of it? No, it's not. So that's like, I don't want you just to take what I've said and then just say, oh, well, Katie said, no, 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 it's got to work. You got to look at your whole situation. That's honestly why this class is good, because it's all encompassing of everything that I believe the five real pillars are. I hope that answered it. And okay, so you guys, I made it through with just a little technical glitch. What we're going to do is, I am thinking, Warwick, what we'll do is we'll kind of piece these two videos together, and I'll send it back out to you guys again to watch, piece together with different microphones, I guess. Maybe I'll do this again. I'm not quite sure. But I want you guys, yeah, working on joining them now. Okay, great. So you can just see me in all my glory of screwing up. So thank you, everybody. And you guys know, no matter what, whether you buy the course or not, I'm here for you. I try and answer the comments. We've gotten a lot of comments. I'm really working through them. But this course has been years long process that I've been putting together and I've been working on. From this course will actually be a book that I'm going to be putting together, a real book. I wrote another book before about helping agents build a real estate team, but this is going to be a true guide, a true manual to how do you sell your home. And that's where we're starting from, is this location with this class for $97 only. It will never be this low again. I'm telling you. All right, guys. So I guess that's it for today. Last time, ReadySetSellMasterclass.com. You can go there and order the class for $97 for one more week, and then until the 23rd. And then I will see you in those live classes. You go ahead and sign up. You're going to be getting an email and tell you all the classes. I'll make sure I communicate with you, and you get access to our Facebook group right away, which right now is empty because you're going to be the first ones in, and so we get to connect, and you'll get to meet Warwick too, and the rest of my team too. Oh, this is nice. Let's see. I believe you're one of the most honest and practical agents I've seen. Great job today. Thank you, Mama. 774. I appreciate it. My kids will be happy to hear that. My husband will, but I really, really do appreciate that, because like I said, I'm an agent who just is going on YouTube. So this is how I roll. The other thing is, there are a lot of agents like me out there. There really are, that are honest and truthful. And I just want to make sure that you guys are finding those right agents. Definitely. Thank you for that comment. A warm cranberry dining room. Should I go neutral? Typically cranberry does not shoot well in photos. It makes it look a little dated. Now, if the furniture is all dated and you have heavy drapery in there as well, it's going to still look dated. So you should only paint if it's going to be a huge upgrade from where you're at right now. I mean, honestly, rooms that are staged, so let's say you have dated furniture, you take it out, you take down the window treatments. Then if you paint the walls something neutral and you bring in some staging, makes the room look totally different. So painting just for the sake of painting, I don't always recommend, because that's why I think that, that's how I can save you money, is I don't necessarily want you to put out money that you don't have to. Now, other agents are going to say, yes, you need to paint everything. Well, it depends on your market. Is your market super hot right now? Is anything selling? Are you pricing it below value so you get, a higher price? Like, for example, in my one video about my seller made $70,000 more by not updating her house. She didn't really update it. She didn't update it, and she made more money. Now, we priced it a little below market, but we sold it above appraised value. So that's something you need to think about. So I know it's sort of a wishy-washy answer, but I don't want you to just go out and paint because you're hearing, I need to paint. I want you to think about it. Is it actually going to get a return? You can ask me, you can post in the Facebook group. If you post in the Facebook group, I definitely will tell you if that's worth it or not. I do that with people. So let's see. Oh, it's finding them to include experience. Okay, if you need an agent, would you pop that link in there if you guys need an agent? If you need an agent anywhere in the country, I can help you find them. Just fill out the link that's in here, and I will go ahead and get you an agent. And I'm pretty like real about this. So if I refer you somebody that you don't like, you call me back and I find you somebody else. And this is me and my team who are actually working on this to get you agents as well. Yeah. So go ahead and fill that out. Don't sweat the small stuff. The microphone. Thanks. Wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate it. And like I said, fill out that link. I've got a lot of great resources for you. Even if you're not signing up for the class, you certainly can keep watching, make comments, like, subscribe if you're not already. I would think all of you are subscribed. So anyway, all right, guys, unless there's anything else, I am going to sign off and say thank you. Thank you, Warwick, for helping me get through this. And thanks that my dog didn't go crazy and that we were able to manage this. Okay, so thanks, everybody. See you later, hopefully. Bye.